It is a series of serial fiction that I wrote for Circlet Press in 2012. It's erotic fiction, so if you're put off by erotic fiction, you may want to step away for maybe about 10 and 20 minutes, but these chapters are not very long. I'm going to read a chapter from Incubus Tales, and you can get that and support my work on it. So, this is a rather uncommonly somber chapter from it. I don't believe there is any actual, erotic content in this. So I'll start you off with with a chapter that doesn't have sex in it, but pretty much every other chapter has sex in it. So it's like sex, more character development, sex, character development. So, and this chapter, this story, to catch you up, revolves around an incubus who keeps shop. His name is Jar, and he is, like I said, an incubus, a pleasure demon. He doesn't suck people's souls. He sucks something else sometimes. He's currently talking with Evan. Just let me know when I should begin.
Whenever you feel like it.
All right. This is Incubus Tales, 1,000 Words by Hushicho on...
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if I should call it a Red Knot segment because I wrote it, so I obviously read it.
Maybe not art.
Oh yeah, the not art. There you go.
Because that is about like writing a webcomic.
Yeah.
So.
This actually, I don't believe this actually will have a sex scene in this chapter, so you should be okay. So Incubus Tales, 1,000 Words by Hushicho on the Not Art segment. 10th night, mercenary. It was raining again. It had been raining for some time. At least there was never any hail, but whenever it rained, it covered the whole city like a massive sheet of water. Everything glowed with the bouncing raindrops, white clouds of mist drifting off into nothing with every surface they hit. You've never asked. Jar turned his head. He had seated himself in the front window to watch the rain. Evan was walking out from behind the silk screen slowly towards him, to join him. He climbed into the window, pulling a cushion behind him, reclining opposite Jar. The rain steadily drummed all 3 panes of glass. I don't intrude, Jar replied. I feel that if someone has something they wish to tell me, they'll tell me, and that will be that. Aren't you curious? I would be lying if I said I weren't. Jar let out a little chuckle, turning his head again to watch the way the drops dance on the street. But that's for you to choose to tell me, not for me to choose when you do it. I'll think no less of you, whatever your answer. Evan's eyes never once left the incubus. Silence passed between them. When at last he spoke, his voice cracked a little. Are you sure about that? Without the slightest hesitation, Jar turned to look right into his eyes. That was one of the things that Evan loved the most about him, which at times scared him. Whenever Jar looked into your eyes, you could feel that he wasn't just looking at your face. He was looking into your soul, past every possible wall or facade you could put up to stop him. Someone had once said that the eyes were the window to the soul. Evan could believe it. I've never been more certain about anything in my life. Evan gathered his knees to his chest and rested his head on them. He hugged his arms around his legs, facing the storm outside. I'm just a human. There's nothing just about being a human, Jar replied, extending a foot to tap lightly at the side of the other man's. It takes tremendous panache to come to a place like this and live as a human. No, I mean, Evan hesitated, shoulders falling as he sighed. I don't want to be just a human. I ran away from home. I wasn't happy there. I didn't like the way the world was. I didn't know where I was going. It was just coincidence that I found the way down here when I did. It was like I found the yellow brick road or something. The younger man slowly raised his head, sitting back against the wooden wall. He let his legs stretch out between jars. I didn't know what to do. Evan flicked his tongue out to wet his lips. His mouth felt dry, his throat tight. So I just kept walking. When I found this place, I thought, well, he bounced his shoulders. Can't be worse than where I was. The incubus reached down to Evan's sock foot, took it in his hand, starting to rub it lightly. His touch was not so intense today, not so edged or full of desire and sex. Evan felt a relieved sigh escape him. The incubus smiled very softly. Please relax. No judgment here, not from me. Evan let his eyelid droop. He could still hear the rain. He could feel the hands on his foot. I don't really have anyone anymore. Over the years, all the places I lost everyone, or they went away, where everything seemed to stand between us. And even though we went everywhere, there was nowhere that filled that hole in me. He opened his eyes, lashes wet with little drops of moisture. His voice shook quietly. Well, I know all about filling holes. You've come to the right place. Jar's expression remained warm, tone as irreverent as always. Evan opened his mouth, at first surprised and confused, and then he laughed, a deep, heartfelt laugh of relief. Tears poured down his cheeks, and he rocked forward right into Jar's arms, into the embrace that pulled him into the incubus's chest. After the brief laughter faded, it was replaced with sobs, racking his body, wetting the demon's shirt. The rain roared louder outside, and it seemed only to taper off when the tears did. Evan sniffed, pushing his palms at his cheeks to wipe the wetness away. All right, Jar whispered to him, tilting his chin up. You're not alone, and you'll never be alone again if you don't want to be. You've got forever to decide what you want to be, how to fill that gap. There's a whole world out there, and a whole universe too. I won't rest until you can be happy with your existence. Evan impulsively leaned up to touch his lips to Jar's. It was just a short little kiss, but at that moment it meant so much to him. It was everything. The world was in that kiss. Jar squeezed his arms around Evan, rocking slowly from side to side. You don't have to worry. You don't have to feel pushed. We have all the time in the world. I won't force anything on you, except I will make sure you eat well. He flashed a grin matched by the man in his arms. If you don't want to be a human, well, there are all kinds of other things you can be. Even being a human, you can be all kinds of other things. There are people who ride in human shells but are just waiting to emerge from that cocoon. Evan placed his hand on Jar's shoulder. The rain was getting stronger again. Sorry for, being emotional. I just feel so lost sometimes. Everyone else here seems to know what they want, It feels hard to keep up when you don't have wings with fangs or an amazing aura. He smiled a little bit. Beaucoup chef ability. You should never apologize for having emotions. Jar stroked a hand through the man's hair. Anyone who expects that is a person who is dishonest with themselves. Or a rock. And if it's a rock, why are you apologizing it? For having emotions. He patted Evan's head, resting his hand there. Just do your thing. Live the way you want to. Plenty of the people here were thrust into their lives without any choice on their part. Some of the vampires, for example, you might think they've got it all together. Plenty of them were made into what they are by accident, without thinking about all the repercussions. Most of them do their own thing, their way. I guess I never thought of it that way. Evan took a deep breath, sitting up. Thank you. Thank you, Jar answered, cupping his cheek. I'm honored by you telling me these things, that you trust me enough. I think I trust you more than I've ever trusted anyone. Ever. Jar wove his fingers with Evan's, squeezing with affection.
That really should have come after our awesome talk time.
I know, I didn't really think about it. But Incubus Tales, 1,000 Words, it is from Circlet Press. It is published in a number of ways. You can get the ebook at circlet.com. I believe it's circlet.com. I need to look this up because, it's circlet.com. CIR. I'll just write it in.
Okay.
You can get the ebook version if you would like that particular version, or you can get the hard copy at the Create Space link that Cassie provided you earlier. This was a finalist at an earlier Erotica Awards, and it's also a Lambda Literary finalist, and the awards for that will be in June. So we don't know yet, but this is actually an award-winning book, and I'm really proud of it.
Yay.
So I'm really happy that it is so well received. But I hope you liked it, and if you'd like to read more, you can always pick this up, and it will hopefully make you very happy. So we got I believe 50 nights, 50 chapters in this book, and plenty of lovely erotica, a lot of heartfelt character development, and some really sweet healing kind of yashike kind of thing. So
Yashike?
yashike is like healing genre.
Ah, okay.
Thank you for the kudos. I appreciate that. I did this work for Circlet, and Circlet's editor-in-chief, Cecilia Tan, is wonderful, like the best editor I've ever worked with in my life. And we were talking one time, and I was like, I really would like to do some serial fiction for you guys, because we were talking about it at the time. And she
I
was
need
like,
some money for this book. We all need money. We all need money.
It's but I am really proud of 1,000 Words. I did that for a year. Every week a new chapter would come up, and it was 50 weeks out of 52. I had 2 weeks off basically, but I did 50 chapters, and it turned out to be a popular serial fiction, and it has done very well in the being recognized. So I'm actually really happy about that. So that really pleased me to learn that it was a finalist in that early awards, and that it's a finalist again in the Lambda Literary Awards, which are kind of they're very well known. So that
I need to pick up writing again, since I kind of slacked in the last year.
But yeah, I think you will like 1,000 Words if you like feeling works and healing works, because there's a lot of, I like to try and deal with emotions in a realistic way, but also in a healing way. So
Yeah.
I'm always inspired by the yashike genre, because it's so different. It's a unique genre of stories that don't necessarily always have like conflict in. Like sometimes it's just an experience, and you're following a character, and through that you experience a kind of healing, and it just sort of makes you feel better. So I feel like it's something that really is a wonderful thing. I tried to do it with Incubus Tales, but every chapter
Yeah.
couldn't be that. I wanted
Yeah.
to do some conflict in it, because it's something
Yeah.
that also brings people in. So. But I'm so glad if you enjoyed the excerpt. We may be reading more from 1,000 Words. We don't know. I mean, we'll figure it out tomorrow, what we'll be doing tomorrow. But
Yeah, because we should maybe hopefully have more time tomorrow